Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing something a little bit different. We're kind of combining two videos into one. So I have been an Adobe user since I was like, geez, I don't know, 10 years old. I remember back in the day playing Neopets and having a Harry Potter guild and just creating all of these really sweet little web pages for our pets on Neopets. Photoshop was my jam back in the day. Slowly but surely throughout high school, I learned how to use Illustrator, InDesign, finally went to design school in college, and it's just been onwards and upwards with Adobe ever since. However, I am not the biggest fan of Premiere Pro. I can figure it out. I've started using Premiere for the videos that I've edited so far, and it just seems like such a clunky program, and I've heard such amazing things about Final Cut Pro. So with that, as most of you know, I took part in the Part-Time YouTuber Academy with Ali Abdaal, and he has a very popular Skillshare course on how to edit using Final Cut Pro. So we are going to follow that course and create a video and go over my monthly favorites, and then at the end I will kind of give you a glimpse into what I thought of the Skillshare class. So without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video, which is my monthly favorites for April 2021. We are going to go over 4 categories. The first is a physical thing, and then we're going to do books, then we're going to do podcasts, and then we're going to do an app that I've been using on my phone, iPad, or computer. So first things first, a physical thing. This is a weird one, I'm not gonna lie, but it's a power bar. So with our recent move, I found some essential and non-essential products for the new house, and one of them is this power bar by a brand called Genie. Now I realize smart plugs and all these things, they've been around for a while. I have never had one yet, and this power bar is my favorite thing ever. I've installed it in my office here, and with a flick of a button on my phone, I can turn off my twinkle lights. Now this seems like a very, very small task, but the lights that I have were just cheap curtain lights on Amazon, and so I would always have to unplug the actual plug, and it's kind of tucked in the corner, so it's really inconvenient to get to. But now with my trusty Genie power bar and its trusty little app here, just little boop, and they're gone. So that's my physical thing, a smart power bar that I can control each individual outlet by a button on my phone. Love it so much. So the second category is books. In April, we moved in the middle of the month, and it was super, super busy and exhausting for a good solid 3 days. And then once the move was done, I completely crashed and binged every single Bridgerton book in the series by Julia Quinn. I love the Bridgerton series on Netflix, and so I thought I would give the books a read. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer. I am a sucker for cheesy romance books. I love just escaping into a different world where we don't have to consider all of the terrible things. You can just kind of get immersed into the story. There's a lot of hate about the Bridgerton books, and yes, there's a lot of terrible, terrible themes and things that you can say, but as far as like cheesy romance, not thinking about the quality of the book, just can you get lost in the story? I personally really enjoyed them. I just had to know what happened and how each story ended, and I really appreciated how there's 8 siblings, but each of their love stories are quite unique and different, and I think it was impressive that they were able to come up with different storylines for each. Now, please don't drop any hate in the comments. It is surprising how negative all of the videos about Bridgerton are. Surface level, escaping the world, cheesy, cheesy, cheesy love stories. I feel like that's what you get with them. They're bad, but they're so bad that they're good. I don't know. Have you read the Bridgerton books? Are you part of the people who think they're absolutely terrible, or were you able to escape in them and just kind of shut off for 5 hours? Let's just check my screen time for April. In 8 days, it took me 8 days to finish the 7 books. I spent 38 hours reading. 38 hours reading Bridgerton. All right, so the third category is podcasts. And I put out a tweet a little while ago asking, when do you guys listen to podcasts? I have such a hard time finding time in the day to turn on a podcast. I'm usually playing video games or watching YouTube videos or working, where my brain has to be engaged in the work that I'm doing, so I can't actually listen to a podcast. And some of the answers I got were commuting or cooking or while editing. Editing, I think I'm gonna try out, but cooking I tend to FaceTime with my family, so that one is out, and then I work from home, so there goes that commute. But this month with the move, there was a lot more cleaning that needed to be done, so I was able to sneak on some podcasts while I cleaned. So the podcast of choice this month was Unlocking Us by Brené Brown. I love Brené Brown. I used to always joke that I wanted to be Brené Brown when I grew up. If I couldn't be Brené Brown, I wanted to be Wendy, who was one of the instructors from a leadership course I took. She was amazing. But yes, Brené Brown, Unlocking Us. The episode I listened to was with Dax Shepard and Tim Ferriss, and I just loved the vulnerability and the conversation and just the honesty that went on in that episode. Really enjoyed it. Lots of good tidbits of information. Highly recommend Unlocking Us by Brené Brown if you haven't listened to it. But with that, I will also take podcast suggestions down in the comments, because like I said, I'm trying to find out space and time where I can start listening to podcasts. So the fourth category is an app, whether it's a phone app, computer app, iPad app, whatever kind of app. We are just gonna highlight whichever one is taking up most of my time. This month it's a little bit embarrassing, but we're gonna stick with it. So with COVID, we can't go anywhere at all ever. Everything's closed. But my mom used to like to go to the casino, so it was always a fun time to go to the casino with my mom. And I don't know what spurred it, but I downloaded a slot machine app on my phone, Double Down Casino. Very embarrassing. The amount of time that I have spent just listening to the happy lights and sounds and clicking of a slot machine on a phone app with fake money is a little bit embarrassing. But yes, the monthly favorite for apps solely based on time used would definitely be Double Down Casino. Don't judge me, okay? Let me know if you guys have any guilty favorites when it comes to phone games, because they are a time suck, let me tell you. And so that is it for my monthly favorites. Let me know what you guys think, if I should turn this into a regular reoccurring series or something. I like the idea of it prompting me to listen to more podcasts and read more books, so I have something to kind of fill in this content with. But of course, because this is actually reviewing a Skillshare course, be sure to listen to the next little bit on what I thought of Ali Abdaal's Skillshare Final Cut Pro editing for beginners course. Okay, so Editor Bex here. It has been a couple of weeks. Life kind of got quite busy there, so our April favorites is a little bit outdated, but we're going to release this video anyways because we did the work, so why not? So, first thoughts on Final Cut Pro. It is such a clean program. It's way more enjoyable to use than Premiere for some reason. I don't find myself stumbling over the program as much, so I'm super excited to keep using it for the next few videos and see if we're gonna make the purchase at the end of our trial. Now let's jump into thoughts on the Skillshare course with Ali Abdaal. First things first, this course there's so much great content in it. Ali covers so many different ways of including different types of B-roll into your projects, and it's really quite good. One downfall that I found with kind of the layout of the course is because I kind of already have my own editing process and order that I like to do things, some of the videos were hard to follow in the order that he provides them. I wanted to watch them anyways because he includes really good tips and tricks. On to point number 2 that I really liked about this course is that he includes so much focus on keyboard shortcuts. I love keyboard shortcuts. I think they improve your workflow so much, they speed things up, and they're really just overall better way of working, I find. I've been a fan of keyboard shortcuts since I was in high school. I even had a little bit with my computer teacher in high school about keyboard shortcuts. That is a really great plus of the course. One negative of Final Cut Pro is that the keyboard shortcut for toggling visibility on clips is V, which makes sense. Visibility, V, perfect. Except in all Adobe programs, V is the black arrow select tool, which is one of the main things that I always go back to. So I think there's probably about 30 times where I accidentally hid clips trying to get my arrow tool. In Adobe, A is the white arrow tool, and that's kind of a subpar to the black arrow tool. So A is the keyboard shortcut in Final Cut Pro. It's just gonna take a little bit to get used to, but that's okay. I chuckle every single time I accidentally hide my layers. The next thing about the course, I really enjoyed the way that Ali structures the A-roll edit. I have always struggled with editing my A-roll edits down. I say a lot. There's just so many cuts and clips, and I could never figure out the ripple, delete, and all that stuff in Premiere Pro. It was always quite a struggle, but the way that Ali teaches you to do your A-roll edit in Final Cut Pro was superb. I loved it so much. It has helped so much. It sped up the process. I think beginning to end for this edit was only like 6-7 hours maybe, which for me is really quite quick. So really loved the A-roll process. The last point that I wanted to make was in the course he references different plugins and things that you can use, and of course I had plugins that I had purchased for Premiere Pro, so I just found alternates that I could use with Final Cut Pro, but a good chunk of my time was trying to get them set up. For some reason it was not working. Every YouTube video that I found says you just click your home and you go to motion templates. That didn't work. It didn't load anything in. I don't know if it's because I had the trial version or what, but I actually had to go in and find like the back root files, so that was okay. I got it sorted out in the end, but yeah, a good chunk of my time was spent trying to get title templates and plugins and things set up, and the adjustment layer, which is having the adjustment layer to be able to mass edit all of your A-roll clips at the same time. Game changer, love it so much. Took forever to figure out how to set it up, but thankfully it's just time invested at the beginning and we won't have to do that again because it's already set up and we're good to go. So yeah, I highly recommend Ali's Skillshare course for video editing in Final Cut Pro if you're just getting started. It is excellent. He covers so many great tips and tricks, and you can actually get a free trial of Skillshare by following the link in the description below. The video course is about 3 hours long. There's 33 lessons. Really great stuff. Highly recommend it. I love Skillshare as a platform. There's so many different courses that I want to take, and I actually have some video ideas to do, focusing on some Skillshare courses in the future. So yeah, with that, thank you for tuning in all the way to the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.